All right. Welcome. Welcome back to Sweet Things, everyone. Today we've got two very special guests. What to me feels like has been a year in the making, especially since I've known Daniel and have been chatting to you about just over a year now. You were one of the first tracks I ever played on the first ever show back here last August with Call It A Day. And what was it? Now it feels like, I don't know the word I'm looking for is full circle, basically.
Yeah,
that we're here. So yeah, welcome Daniel Kashule and Marli.
Well, I appreciate I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Pleasure being here, honestly.
Stand up as well now.
Yeah,
That'll do.
yeah. All right, so you've both got something massive happening this week. You've got an album called Times of the Essence dropping.
Yes. Also, that has been a year in the making, nearly 2 now, but I'm happy that it's coming out. I'm happy that people are going to be able to listen to it this Friday.
So with this Friday coming up, what is like it all about without giving much away?
Thank you. It's basically about like moments of my life, but I wanted to also make it a story as well. It's about a lot of things that are important to me. It's a concept album about time and love, but it's also on the flip side, 12 messages you'd say to someone who's passed away that you loved, because that's something that happened to me as well. So I wanted to like kind of go through it with music.
Right. With like the rollout, you've been really insane for it. Like recently you spoke about wanting to bring lost arts, rollouts and artistry in a scene that overlooks and fails to meet that at some points. With the clock you take everywhere with you, does that like represent the album and you yourself, as well as like the people you're always like posted with the clock?
Yeah, it does. The clock was made by I don't tell this story often, I should say it more, but the clock was made by someone who's close to our family called Helen. She made a lot of clocks and stuff like that. And this is the closest one I could find. And she passed away. And I just wanted to like take photos with like more popular people in the scene as a way of carrying her legacy on. Also Times of the Essence, with it being clocks and all that. Kind of the concept about it is like obviously moments in my life that happened over time, and I wanted to like incorporate time, but also like lore and love into it. So I think that's a beautiful thing, and no one really does concept albums in the scene anymore. Everything's kind of like
Just like
fast
straight to
food,
it.
yeah, like just straight to like music that you can just digest pretty easily. So
I mean, with this rollout as well, and especially speaking of the clock, I saw earlier this year you got it autographed by Jim Legxacy.
yeah.
Which was insane. That was on was it the I don't know
It was
vid?
it was at his I don't know pop up. I decided to go because I was already in London that day, luckily. So I had a show there, and then he just so happened to announce it. So instead of going back to the Midlands, my uni city, I decided to stay in London for a bit just to see him. And he was just like signing a load of stuff. And he was recording a music video or like shots for it, and I happened to be there. So we had a little conversation, and he just said good luck with the album and stuff like that, and then he signed the clock, which was really cool.
That's insane. Like genuinely, that's probably like my song of the year right now. Would you say he's like a massive influence on your music?
Honestly, especially with like Times of the Essence, like sampling, like the sampling was very inspired by Black British music, and yeah, I kind of tend to incorporate the things I really love about Jim into my own music without necessarily biting too much off of it.
Right. Also with the rollout, you've got this suit that you always wear, and I assume also the headphones, right?
Oh yeah, the headphones like what's supposed to be an accessory, but I listen to so much music that I just carry it around my neck. It's like glued to my neck at this point.
What's like the idea behind the suit?
I kind of wanted to change the perception of underground fashion. Everyone's like going for a kind of pop punk or like punk look with like all the metal braces and stuff like that. I just decided to wear more kind of, how would you call it? Not really casual, but like just more professional wearing stuff, because I feel like this album is something that I put a lot of thought into, and it's also something that is like I think is professional. Also,
like authentic as well.
yeah, like kind of like true to myself as well. And like people usually wear black at funerals as well. And obviously times of the essence about people passing away. So yeah, I decided to kind of like lean into it quite a bit.
Okay, sweet. So for the last year, we've like known each other. We've obviously seen each other grow in this creative scene, but we've also seen Marli become bigger than we could imagine so far since we've both known him. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know like the ins and outs how like you guys met, but it's like we've known each other since like uni.
Yeah.
How'd you meet?
Okay, so I just came off of a single. This is when I was like in my sort of grime rage era, right? And I was like making music, and then I remember Marli commenting on one of my TikToks that I made, and then I was like, oh, that's really cool. Like the producer really messes with my stuff. Let me check him out. And then his beats were also insane. And then I commented on his, and he was like, oh, that's sick. We followed each other, and I want to say like a week later we were in the studio. So, and now we're just like really locked in.
That's insane. Because we've known each other since like first year of uni.
Yeah.
It's like there would be moments where we'd be in his flat like making the dumbest music ever that should never get played in any place wherever, unless it's someone's birthday in the past. But was it? Oh, having like known him since 2022, it's been like the best feeling watching him succeed and not give up. I guess my question for you is, what has it been like to personally see Marli grow and become better every day as a producer, but also now as your manager?
Yeah, I think like over time, the reason why our dynamic works so well is because we push each other. I think that's such an important thing when kind of delving into a partnership or like in this business industry. Also the fact that we're friends outside of the music stuff, like even if we like didn't have music in common, I still feel like we'd be friends because we'd have a lot to talk about outside of it.
Right.
And yeah, it's been absolutely like we've been friends for 2 years now. So like it's kind of crazy to think about. Like not many relationships last this long in a scene where everyone's kind of just staying to be business partners. But yeah, it's been amazing to see him grow. Like as a producer, he pushes me as much as I push him. I'd argue he pushes me way more. But yeah, like it's been amazing. And now he's my manager, and we're kind of just like right now figuring out like what's the best methods forward. But like honestly, like it couldn't have gone any better than this at the minute. So
Madness. Who would you say, minus yourself, is the best person he's worked with?
minus myself. Okay. So he's worked with.
Wait, Len?
Yeah, I'd say so. I didn't know if I could say that. That's the thing. But yeah, he has a placement with Len, but it hasn't came out yet. So yeah, he has a Len produced song. But apart from that, I'd probably say Michelle, because like they've also been locked in as much as me and Marli have. So yeah, and he has a lot of stuff in the vault. So
Madness. So last summer, you was in London to do a show with DJ AG. What was that like to work with him and get recognised?
It was quite surreal actually, because it was like the beginning of the rollout. I remember like September was when I started like wearing the suit to like shows and all that, and then October AG basically announced I'm doing one of those like Camden like pop-ups to like come and like, you know, rap your own songs. So I was like, okay, I wanted to use the iconic grime beat. I forgot off the top of my head what the name's even called.
Rhythm and
shameful.
Gash.
Yeah, Rhythm and Gash. There you go. And then yeah, he got my contact details and stuff like that, and he was really nice. He was just like, just keep going. That was amazing. And yeah, it was such a surreal experience. I got a picture of him as well. Yeah, it was great.
For like the both of you, how did you first get into music, and when did you both realise you wanted to make your own?
Ooh, actually, I'll let you answer this whilst I think about it.
For me, well, I mean, I've been making music a painfully long time, really. It was never really a specific moment. I've just been making music for literally my whole life. When I was really young, I tried playing the piano, tried playing the guitar. None of it really stuck, and for whatever reason, and I'm talking I was like 8 or 9 years old, none of it really stuck, and I just wanted to create rather than being the player of the music.
Yeah.
And so when I was like 12, I think I basically just jumped on my dad's old MacBook, and he had GarageBand downloaded on that. I'm lucky enough that both my parents are self-employed creative people who I can kind of look up to, and you know, they basically paved the way for me to feel like I can actually do this for myself. And yeah, I've been basically doing it like over a decade, which is kind of ridiculous. But when I started taking it really seriously was probably a few years ago. That was when I took it from a hobby to somewhat treating it like a business.
Right.
But yeah, it's ever changing. It's the sort of thing that you just got to keep loving no matter what. That's been the hardest thing, is trying to balance the enjoyment of it and the passion with trying to treat it like a business. It's probably the most difficult thing to do. But yeah.
Okay, after hearing his, now I feel like I have an idea of what I want to say. I started making music quite late, like in year 11. So when I was like 15 going 16. And the reason why I just got into it was because it was COVID. So I was just like, okay, let me try something new. First song didn't turn out all right. Obviously, like, who's going to have like a good first song unless, you know, you've been like surrounded by people who make music. But yeah, I've been making music for the better part of 6 years now. But yeah, the reason why I decided to, like, you know, progress and like keep going till now is just basically because I like challenge. I like being pushed a lot and being uncomfortable, because if you're comfortable, then you don't really progress onwards. So I felt like, okay, I have to get better at this, because it's something that, like, it's just an intrinsic drive inside me. So that's why I kept going, honestly.
What was it like trying to get out of that, like, comfort and to, like, express yourself?
It was very strange, because like I always got into it loving doing it. So like I always like loved creating and stuff like that. But then it was also like, because there was a lot of eyes on me as well at the time, like in 2020 when I started. So I was just like kind of worried about the perception of like others and what they think about my stuff. But the minute I stopped caring was the minute I just like started excelling. So like I'd say 2024 was just like a big like moment for me, or a big year for me in terms of music, and that's what propelled me to start also treating it as a business. And yeah,
That's insane. Because I mean, with that time, you've not just DJG, but you've been getting recognised by a lot of legends like Sir Spyro. What was it like to be shown love by such a legend?
Yeah, I gotta thank Cadell for that. He's actually been putting me on a lot for the grime scene. A lot of the grime scene actually know me through that Sounds of the Verse. It was great working with him because he gave me a lot of advice and like how the grime scene is like, because right now I'm kind of an in-between blend with the grime scene and the underground scene, which is actually quite like a blessing, because I can like be a part of both and like get respect from both scenes. But he was just basically just telling me how amazing Call It a Day was, because he knew me from that song, and to just keep going and just like,
Same with me.
yeah, to just keep going.
Yeah. If you could go back in time and like tell yourself everything that's going to happen, what would you tell that Daniel Kashule?
Oh, okay. I could go back in time. Just to stay grounded, really. Like, a lot of people would like sort of see the eyes that they're getting and sort of like just not stay humble and like carry around their ego and like shove it in people's faces. But I kind of always wanted to stay true to myself, and like grassroots is really important to me. So I'm always gonna try and like act the same way that I did before I got certain things, because it's always great to just like respect others, and like if anyone's like showing me love, like that's worth more than anything. Like, yeah.
What about yourself, Marli?
I would say, like I touched on earlier, don't do anything that would, could potentially jeopardize your passion for what you do. Because at the end of the day, I think the most important thing I've realized over time is that when, especially as a producer, when you're creating something, it has to come from a place of passion. Otherwise, it's just not, the authenticity of this project, for example, is the reason that I love it so much personally. It's come from a place of, a self-expression on Daniel's end for sure. And the entire project has basically been my job to bring it to life to an extent. Obviously, Daniel had the vision. Daniel has the personal experience of it all. And it was just my job to create the surrounding story, feeling, atmosphere, everything like that. And that personally comes from a place of authenticity as well. And if you veer too far away from that, which I have done in the past, start making stuff constantly for the sake of other people, what they'd enjoy rather than yourself, then that's where you start to fall apart a little bit. And that's where in the past, you burn out when you do that sort of thing. I think everybody who makes music in some kind or any art will agree with that. But yeah, I think just stay true to yourself and do what you really love and don't let other perceptions impact on that.
Would you say that's like how you've grown as a person through your production since you first started?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when I first started, back in school, I used to, I would have been like 13 or 14. I remember I started a YouTube channel. And I remember, I used to post stuff. It was literally stuff I'd make on my phone. There was a little app called Auxy that I used to use before I had any of the, Logic or FL or anything like that. And I would make stuff on that, and I'd be really proud of it. And I'd put it on YouTube. And one way or another, a couple of people in my class found out about it. And I'd walk into class and people would have it up on their phones or like up on the smartboard, I think. I remember, like laughing at it, basically. And I was like, that sort of thing, for a lot of people, will discourage you from doing it. And for whatever reason, I don't know why 14-year-old me, 13-year-old me decided that it was going to be something to push against. But I'm proud of myself for that. I don't really remember it that much, but it was kind of just a blur. But that's the sort of thing that kind of pushes you in the right direction at the end of the day. If you can make it through that sort of thing when you're young, then that's all that matters, really. And it just showed that I really wanted it. And I try and carry that with me to this day. There's always going to be people who have something to say about whatever you do. There's going to be negative reviews about anything. Like, that's irrelevant.
Just keep going forward.
Absolutely. So yeah, that's the most important thing, I think.
So I want to change the topic. Since 2024, when the rise of rage and underground music became more popular, especially with how Black and Tan popped off, especially for the country, would you say the scene is in a good place since?
Yeah, I'd say so. A lot of independent artists are doing way better than they were doing if they started music in 2022, 2023, for example. Obviously, I can't speak on that because I kind of entered the scene early 2024, late 2023. But obviously, I've done my research. I've seen the history. I think Black and Tan was the start of a lot of great things and positive things for the scene. And if you look back to summer of 2024 when it came out up to now, you can see a lot more artists are excelling now. A lot of artists are now getting deals from bigger labels that are kind of looking for underground artists to propel into stardom. So it's really great to see it all happen. And I'd definitely say that the scene is in a way better place than it was.
Would you say that really helps as well, especially how we've got a lot of blog accounts on Instagram who are shouting out not just London, but Essex, Yorkshire, Derby, yourself, all across the country to show that it's not just here that's happening.
Yeah, I think I was speaking about this with Marli the other day, actually, and we think that media pages hold the most power in the scene at the minute because they have the power to shine light on things that aren't really spoken about in the scene. They get to hear more of the history about it, and like you said, kind of like help certain artists who definitely should deserve the love that they're going to get, showing them that love. And I think that's really important as well, not just only for London artists, but for Midlands artists, for people in the North, and also Island artists as well.
Yeah, because you got people like yourself, Young Iman, Def to Ricky, just to name a few that you've probably seen. They're at what the fuck is that concert called?
I saw them at, I want to say Rage
Draft
Club
Day.
and Draft Day. Yeah.
Yeah, because they've been popping off a lot this year. Is there anyone in the scene you'd love to shout out, the both of you? Whether that's artists, producers.
I couldn't name a single person. There are literally like hundreds of people that deserve all sorts of praise. I think that every single person who puts in consistent, genuine effort into their craft and also is a genuinely nice person as well, because I think that's been, for the entire time that I've been, working with Daniel, it's been the biggest blessing to engage with people who are genuinely lovely people who also work really hard. And I think that a lot of the time, the egos get in the way. There's a lot of people with a big ego who just, to be honest, like there will never be a point that either of us will ever have an ego. Like I know that with Daniel. Daniel could have 100 million monthly listeners and he'd like be the same guy. Do you know what I mean? But that's, for me, just the main thing is every single person who works hard and stays humble and doesn't complain about stuff and wants to, acknowledge other people's hard work as well. That's all I can really say on that. But there's, everyone who knows they deserve a shout out knows they deserve a shout out. But yeah, too many people to name.
Yeah, I would say the same. But if I had to shout out one, then like someone who's kind of like on the similar mindset and wavelength that I'm on at the minute, that I'm really messing with their music at the moment, is Bats. So Bats, he goes by Bats RTW on Instagram. He's kind of adopted such a great mindset about artistry, and like I felt like I've learned so much from him as well, that I feel like he deserves the shout out, because he's going on to great things. Like I've heard his unreleased and stuff like that, so probably shout out Bats.
Shout out to him. With you guys being like in the scene, what would your advice be to people who are just starting out?
Probably to stay consistent, because time is of the essence. Accidentally took 2 years, so consistency is key. But also like being authentic and like communicating with your audience who really mess with your stuff. Like over the 2 years, obviously I haven't been dropping much. I've dropped like 3 singles, but the listeners have always been like communicating with me and like asking like what's the future, what's in store for you and stuff like that. And it's always good to reply to those people, because those are the people that are the listeners are the most important. Those are people who's gonna propel you to insane heights. They're gonna take you around the country. So yeah, just stay consistent and engage with your audience, and make sure you show love to them and show love to your peers as well.
Be a good person, stay humble, and be generous and considerate with everything you do. Simple as that.
Wise words. Why should we listen to Times of the Essence?
To be honest, you don't need to. You don't need to listen to the album if you don't want to. The whole purpose of me creating music is to just throw it out there in hopes that someone resonates with it. That's always been something that I've aspired to do, and is what I will continue to do throughout my career. So if you want to listen, you should listen, because it's something that is different to what you've heard in the underground currently. It is a mixture of just my influences growing up and in present day. So I feel like you should listen to it for that reason. And yeah, I'm pretty sure you'll love it anyway. So.
Nice. And my final question is, what can we expect next after Times of the Essence, if you can say anything?
Oh, just expect like loads of fun, like a fun time. I want to collaborate with like a plethora of people. And yeah, drop consistent fun music. Not to say Times of the Essence isn't fun, because there's a lot of fun songs. It's just like, just have a good time whilst being consistent and have fun. I think that's a very important thing that I want to do.
Thank you guys for coming on.